What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a Christmas edition of Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. That's powered by none other than 320 Solar. Today, we're going to talk quickly about the Bucks versus the Lions, the winning angle, Madden 21 predictions, my perspective on Devin White's performance last week against the Falcons, Pro Bowl snubs, Tony Dungy throwing shade at Brady, injury report, and last but not least, what the Bucks need to actually steal a playoff spot. All that's going to be available coming up here live on BucksReport.com on Sports Talk 49 right after this intro of all our sponsors. So stay tuned, get your eggnog, and be ready. We'll be right back.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up. Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. .320 Solar. Power up.
And we're back. The Sports Talk 49 as always can be seen and heard live here on BucksReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Monday doing post-game, Friday doing pre-game. Of course, this is the Merry Christmas holiday version. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to all of you. If not, it's just another show and business as usual. No problem there. So, as I said earlier, we're going to get into everything. We'll talk Bucks versus Lions, the winning angle, Madden 21 predictions, my perspective on Devin White. Pro Bowl snubbed again. Tony Dungy, is he throwing shade at Tom Brady? I think he put him as his number 6 quarterback. Injury report, who's in, who's out. What Bucks need to seal a playoff spot. And as always, you'll hear from Deshaun Tisdale coming out of GA, who's been able to walk around his grocery store with his Bucks jersey on and out there in Atlanta with all those Falcon fans. So let's get the status quo. Let's talk about who's playing and who's not. We'll get into the injury report first. I know everybody wants to hear that first. Let me get that ready for you. I have it here. Give me a second, folks. Oh, I got to pull it up. All right, I'll get back to that in a second. But let's get straight into it. We'll get straight into the winning angle, and then I'll pull up the winning the injury report right after, and then we'll just go down from there. So check this out. Enjoy, and here it is, the winning angle against the Lions. Here you go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of The Winning Angle with your host from Sports Talk 49, Blake Anthony. Today, we're going to talk about the Buccaneers' upcoming matchup, some key things to look at, and what they should do to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Here's the Winning Angle's to-do list. Buccaneers on offense. Play your game. No turnovers. Take your shots deep. Defense. Tackle in open space. No extra yardage. No mental mistakes. Last but not least, make one-dimensional. Player spotlights. Levante David, Mike Evans, Lions, TJ Hockenson. Bucks need to find a way to start fast. I know Arian said he doesn't want to talk about it, but let's look at some of the reasons why. Here's the first
clip I could think of last week. It's a blitz, but it's picked up perfectly. Leonard Fournette, Tristan Wirfs, everybody does a great job in protection. Brady rushes the ball and misses two wide open receivers coming across there and coming across on the left side of the screen. I promise you, folks, the Lions will do this. This is a 2-4-5 double A gap. Middle linebacker 45 drops back to force the protection. DB loops around and comes into a free B gap. Here it is here. DB comes through the free gap. There's nobody there to protect Brady, and it's a sack on this play. Kind of reasons why they start late. Folks, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to call this early. Mike Evans should have another 100 yards receiving, and then Antonio Brown should fare very well. I can see Brown right here in the slot, running right at this safety. This safety has a bad tendency of staring at the quarterbacks, and I'll show you on another clip later on. All the defenders staring in the backfield. Wide receiver makes an easy move back outside. The safety does not have a chance to catch anywhere near the wide receiver, and he goes for a touchdown. As I promised I said I would, I'll show you another clip of the Lions defense. Single high safety again with this safety. Again, he shows you he's poor at tackling, he's poor at cover in single high safety look when wide receivers are in space. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers just throw a simple, back shoulder fade on this play. Safety does not have a chance. His beat inside again, and you know the rest. I anticipate the Detroit Lions to replicate what the Atlanta Falcons did last week against Sean Murphy Bunting and put him in some compromising situations since he struggled against Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley on these deep crossing routes, putting the ball on the sideline where the safety can't get help when they have a single high safety look. Much like I've said all past weeks, teams are learning to take advantage of play action against Levante David and Devin White because they're very aggressive in the run game. So they're going to use play action passes and get them off their spot and throw right where they left from. I really would like to see this week either 54 or 45 get their hands on an interception this week and either put some points on the board or give the offense in prime position to score. So Tampa Bay defense, don't over pursue in play action. Thanks for watching and enjoy the game.
There you have it. If you're just tuning in, it's Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com, live every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. There you have it. Winning against the Lions. The Lions, they have a lot of injuries all around the board and not a lot of great players to make plays for them coming into Saturday's game against the Buccaneers. And I think somebody said that they clinched yet. They're 98%. They win. The Bucs win tomorrow against the Lions. They clinch a playoff spot. Or if the Bears lose, they clinch a playoff spot. Yes, the winning the division is up for grabs and first place. Bucs would be 11-5. Bucs would be 11-5 if they finish their last two games, and the Saints would be 10-6. And if the Saints and them tie, of course, you already know the Saints would win the tiebreaker. But Bucs play Minnesota today, I believe, and everybody else plays Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, that's your scenario right then. Of course, if they don't win against the Lions, which I don't foresee that happening unless something crazy happens, the Bucs should get that victory in that game. As I said, I will post up the injury report. As of right now, Carlton Davis, with the groin injury that he went out with later in the game, he's a game time decision. Ronald Jones will be out this game, and Leonard Fournette will be your starting back again this week. Crazy. Ronald Jones has only 100 yards to get to reach a stat, and he's going to have only one game left to get it if he plays the final game against Atlanta. Lions have out Terrell Crosby, ankle, offensive lineman. Kenny Galladay is out, their star wide receiver, hip injury, he's out. And Jamie Collins has a neck injury, and he's questionable. So that's up in the air currently at this moment. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully Aints lose today. Yeah, Gary, we'll see what happens. Minnesota can do it, run all over them. That's what they're going to do, and they play solid and don't turn the ball over. Drew Brees is still not healthy. So there's a lot of questions, Gary, that need to be answered as far as the New Orleans side of the ball. So Very, very possible. That was the injury report. Oh, I want to also get some Jenna Lane and the gang out here in Tampa Bay putting out some great tweets on the Pro Bowl situation here. I want to make sure to get to that before I forget. So I just want to make sure you get the tweet of the week. And that tweet of the week would be, let me get those up for you. We'll start with the top, but I put first. Jenna Lane. It's beyond absurd that both Lavonte David and Devin White weren't named to the Pro Bowl. This slight happens annually for David. He's used to it by now, but White, he's had eight sacks. His 130 tackles are the third most in the NFL. He's had a forced fumble, a formal recovery, a bright young star. I couldn't agree more, Jenna Lane. That was well assessed. Even Greg Allman chimes in. Making the Pro Bowl as an NFC inside linebacker over Bucks Devin White and Lavonte David was the 49ers' Fred Warner, which he is good, who has no sacks, no forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 2 INTs, and 4 tackles for losses, and 101 tackles. So now, with that being said, you know, they say it's always about the record or whatever like that. Like, the 49ers have a losing record, but Fred Warner's making the playoffs. So it's interesting to hear that, because that was always the excuse with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers players not making it. Making the Pro Bowl how he put that. Yep, see, making the Pro Bowl as he put that, and then he re-answered himself. Devin White has 8 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. You see, and as he just said, on the team with a better record than San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers aren't going to make the playoffs, but yet Fred Warner will make the Pro Bowl on a team that's not going to make it. Again, we're not saying that Fred Warner isn't good. Yeah, Saturday, Fred Warner isn't good. We're just saying that was always the excuse. Oh, the Buccaneers aren't going to make it. They don't get in because they're on a losing team. I'm like, it don't make sense. Like now they're winning, and the guys still can't make the playoffs. So it's very interesting to hear to see these things happen. Hence why I've always said, and you guys have heard me go on record several times, I don't take the Pro Bowl as serious as I once did, and these are the reasons why. Yeah, literally, I had no idea Devin White would even have that many sacks, even though I gave him an A+ in pass rush in the pregame before they drafted him, but yet he has 8 sacks. As Greg Allman has a point, when the voting was done, he had 5 at the time, so we'll say 5. But have them kind of stats and still not even make the Pro Bowl. It's insane. So there's clearly something else going on besides playing well and being on a winning team, because they have both and they're still not making the Pro Bowl. But I know guys hit them up on Twitter and say, well, we want a championship instead of a Pro Bowl accolade. See, that's fine as a fan to think that. But you see, as a player, that hurts your paycheck. I had Ron Butler on here, who's actually Lavonte David's agent. He straight up told everybody those matter in contract negotiations, Pro Bowls, all pros, and things like that. Now I have Ron on here again sometime when it gets closer to re-signing everybody, and we'll talk about the contract situations and things like that. Ron will tell you those things go into play, is Pro Bowls and things like that. So those players care about making Pro Bowls, because that helps them get better paydays. And the Bucs players keep getting, snubbed out of it. Jason Pierre-Paul has played out of his mind, coming off a hand injury and a neck injury, and playing well last year on half of a season, and coming in this year having interceptions and sacks out the wazoo. It's just insane to get that kind of contribution. And this year was kind of like what I said last year. I said, I don't really care about, Shaq Barrett having 19 sacks. So I care about multiple people having like 8 sacks or 9 sacks. That means everybody's contributing. You're not just relying on one person to get pressure. You're getting that this year. And you got it diverse as possible. You got Antoine Winfield. You got Jordan Whitehead. You've got you got both your end. You got your both edge rushers got them. When Vea was in, he was getting sacks. Now you got your middle linebacker, Devin White getting sacked. Well, we already know Lavonte can get sacked. He's done that already and hasn't made the Pro Bowl either. So Devin White's just learning from his predecessor that you can play well and still not make the Pro Bowl in this league. So on that aspect, like I said, as a player, it means something to them because it helps them with their contract negotiations, if that makes sense. Okay, no problem on pandemic. In the pandemic, well, we still, I still keep it. You're good. Deshaun, all right, lost track of there for a minute. Yeah, so that's why they can't make Pro Bowls. I mean, I guess we'll never have that answer. We'll never figure that out because it just doesn't make sense to play that well and you're on a winning team and you still can't make it. So at this point, Bucs fans have no idea what the recipe is for their guys to make playoffs. I mean, not playoffs, but Pro Bowl. I see you, Deshaun. I just want to get through these here so play these, and then you can just talk about them afterwards and then answer comments and everything. I see you down there. I know you're ready to rock. Check this out. Speaking of playing well and all that, let's just roll right into it. Let me give you my perspective on Devin White, as if you need any more on it. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of My Perspective with your host from Sports Talk49, Blake Anthony. Check out today's My Perspective and let me know what you think. Make sure to follow me on social media. Enjoy.
Devin White, what can I say? Another stellar performance, just like he had in Las Vegas Raiders with 3 sacks then and 3 sacks now. So much for a sophomore slump, right? So why can't guys like him, Lavonte David, make the Pro Bowl? What more do they got to do? Are the Buccaneers cursed? Are they just not that good? You guys check out the tape and let me know what you think. Enjoy. This is just a well-timed blitz by Devin White. Pays to be a former running back. You know how to find holes. White times the blitz perfectly, pretends he's covering Gurley out the backfield, has a clean shot to Matt Ryan's blind side for his first sack of the fourth quarter. This sack here is pure creativity by Devin White. Again, fakes hard to the B gap. Fullback goes to commit to Devin White. Put the brakes on. Come back to the A gap on a nice stunt. Gives a free center lane in the A gap to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, you know you're not going to out Devin White. Devin White rides him till he can't no more. Takes him to the Old Town Road for a sack. Hops on Daisy May and rides off into the sunset. Devin White probably is going to get the easiest sack of his career right here. Comes out on a blitz, thinks Gurley's going out for a pass route, stays and covers Gurley. And his due diligence, being disciplined, he finds himself an easy prey of Matt Ryan laying helplessly on the ground like a wounded deer for a sack.
There you have it. As I said, what more does Devin White need to do here? And he can't make the Pro Bowl. Maybe he's just not good enough. Maybe he just can't. You're losing spots. He's still the Bobby Wagner who's good, but I don't think he was what he once was years ago. Lavonte David couldn't get a spot over him, and they were drafted in the same draft, the same round. Nearly picks apart. Now it's Devin White's turn, drafted 5th overall in the draft and having an outstanding performance. He may never have another year like this. And we'll see if he makes Pro Bowl then. I don't know. It's just interesting even to see the players this year that were injured majority of the year and are still making Pro Bowls at the linebacker spot, missing majority of the year. And I know I always go back to the Clay Matthews one where he didn't play it down and he makes Pro Bowls. And I think Bradley Chubb is another one this year who was out majority of the year and he still makes Pro Bowls with 7.5 sacks. Let me say that again. Devin White has 8 sacks. Bradley Chubb has 7.5. Granted, he plays outside and Devin White plays middle, but it's a linebacker spot. I'm just giving you an example. There's guys that don't play all year and they still make Pro Bowl. So something's got to change with that. It's just, I mean, put it to you like this. Is Pro Bowl voted in just because popularity or is it actually because your play? If it was just popularity, then I won't even bring up stats anymore. I don't even bring up stats anymore if it's a popularity contest because then I understand where the guidelines are of how you make in the Pro Bowl. It's just because I like you more, and so you should make the Pro Bowl. And if that's the case, that's fine because the fans are entitled to allow to pick the guy that they want. I know some people say the coaches and the players are voting into that too. I'd be like, I just don't see any coach or player voting for a guy who didn't play a down a season. But yet you say coaches and players vote on the top 100, then you see the guys that make that list. Now you see the differences in those lists when they come. Wait till the top 100 comes out. It'll be very different, I promise you, than what you see in this Pro Bowl roster. So you tell me if the players and coaches are really voting on the Pro Bowl spot versus the top 100. You'll see. I guarantee Devin White, Levante David will make that top 100 list, but it can't make Pro Bowl. I'll call it right now. I guarantee both of them will make that Pro Bowl list. It'll at least be. It might be all four of them. It might be Levante David. It might be Devin White. It damn sure got to be Jason Pierre-Paul. And I'm not sure. And it may be Shaq Barrett because he does lead the league, or he's second in the league in pressures. And he does, like, he almost has double-digit sacks this season. He's still got 2 more games to do it, which is very well. He's missed quite a few, and he's been right there on the spot, getting pressures, forcing interceptions. So all 4 linebackers could make that list and top 10. I just want y'all to remember this conversation that they could make the top 10, top 100, but they couldn't make the Pro Bowl. So we'll see. We'll just see. Let me get to the comments. Merry Christmas, you guys. Go Bucks. Yep, Deshaun. Merry Christmas, Josh. Yep. What's going on, brother? Same to everybody. Same to you, Eric. I hope you guys are enjoying. I just want to get on here. It's a Friday. Of course, it's Christmas. I got to go to work anyway, so I figured I'd come out here. If you guys had time and you want to talk or want to watch it later, that's fine. I knew Deshaun would be here, taking his time away from his family as well to jump on and give you guys his perspectives and thoughts. I just thought with the game being Saturday, it's a rare occasion where things are different. So we figured we'd come out here and give you all we got. With that being said, Matt Ryan's still aging with Matthew Stafford is still dealing with a rib injury, which he was kind of stiff. But remember where I tell you guys, it's always important not to stare at the quarterback and pay attention where your receivers are and things like that. Even though Matthew Stafford is not mobile like he used to be, because that's when he was dangerous, when he had Jim Caldwell, and Caldwell told him to be mobile in the pocket. He probably had one of the most best seasons in his career when Jim Caldwell was there, when he was mobile and getting out of the pocket and extending plays and things like that. He's not going to really do that this Sunday, so I expect at least a 5-sack performance out of the front 7. Yep, I expect at least a 5-sack performance. Not sure where it's coming from, but it should be at least a 5-sack performance. But he still can throw from the pocket, and the reason why, let me show you. In case you didn't notice, that was a no-look pass. And as I told you, don't stare at the quarterback, stare at the receivers. The receiver will take it to the ball. He'll tell you if he's getting the ball or not. As you stare at the quarterback, stuff like that happens. And it was just a crazy throw for him to throw between 3 defenders. And luckily, the middle linebacker had turned his back on that play. But it is what it is. And you should underestimate any opponent anyway, coming out every game anyway. So they should play this game as if their season depends on it. The playoffs, they get there. I would expect much urgency in this game, knowing that if you win this game, you clinch a playoff spot, regardless of what the Bears. If you just win, you clinch a playoff spot. So I expect plenty of urgency in this game for them to clinch a playoff spot. And speaking of playoff spots and Tom Brady and things, what do y'all think about Tony Dungy putting Tom Brady as number 6 quarterback? You want to see? What do you think?
Coach, you get criticized because, every time if you have an opinion and if it doesn't coincide with some other people's opinion, they say you're a hater. You had a ranking. You said that Brady was the 6th most difficult quarterback in NFL history to defend. Do you still agree with your ranking? And why do you say he was the 6th most difficult quarterback to defend?
Well, first of all, I don't think you can rank across generations anyway.
Right.
And so I said, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to go by statistics or whatever. I'm going to go by who was toughest on me.
Right.
So now I got to start. I'm never putting Tom Brady ahead of Peyton Manning. So the best he can be is 2. Because Peyton was my guy. So the highest he could ever get is 2.
Correct.
But
okay.
then I started thinking of okay, who gave me real problems? John Elway. You could do everything right, have the perfect defense. He's going to move around and make something happen and kill you. And he killed me enough to say he was difficult. Steve Young was the same way. Those mobile quarterbacks. So that's who I put ahead of Tom. Aaron Rodgers, John Elway, Steve Young, guys who could move. Not to say Tom wasn't great. He is great, but that extra dimension meant something to me. So that's why I would only put him at 6. Just my opinion.
There you have it. And you're back on Sports Talk 49, live on BucksReport.com, Christmas edition, powered by 320 Solar. But it's Tom at 6. And he described it well, as Tony Dungy always does. He said, who gave me a problem? You're right. You can't. I've said that too. People had that conversation with basketball and LeBron James and say, and he worded it right. He said, I don't think you can do that grading between generational, because at that time things are different. And he's right. Like you said, the guys that had lays and extend plays are problems, and they are. And you're seeing that in this league. And teams are tending to want to find guys like that versus the pocket throwers. And I believe I was listening to a college football game, and a guy said a standard NFL quarterback, whatever you want to call it, stand in the pocket quarterback is not a first overall pick, because he doesn't have the element to extend plays versus a guy that can throw and extend plays. And that was an interesting theory he had, but I don't know. I think if he can throw the ball, I don't think that just because he can't run, he's not worthy of a first overall pick, because he doesn't have the ability to extend plays. I mean, you don't have to be fast to be, elusive. And I think they used to do the top 10 most elusive quarterbacks or mobile quarterbacks. And a lot of those guys weren't, fleet of foot, that they were, tricky in the pocket to buy themselves more time to extend plays. So it was interesting, on that topic. I get to some of these questions, especially with Deshaun, because I know these are stuff that we're talking about, why we start off slow. The pass where Brady scrambled out and had Evans come back was a beauty. Exactly. If you're elusive in the pocket, you don't have to necessarily be fast. Just got to be pocket elusive, things like that. So we're almost at the halfway point. Let's get to the Madden 21 predictions. We'll go into a break, and then it'll be 411 with Deshaun Tisdale along with me right here on Sports Talk 49. Madden was kind to us this week, Deshaun, so you might enjoy this one.
Today, from Ford Field in Detroit, this is Madden NFL 21. We'll see Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions taking on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They'll try to punch it in with Fournette, and he's in. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Taking it in from 2 yards out, and the Bucs take the ball down the field and score on their opening drive. First carry for DeAndre Swift. And it's first carry. He loses the football. And it's picked up by the Buccaneers. And his guys will take over at the 25-yard line. Well, he's going to have to shake out the cobwebs first time he touches the football, and he drops it on the ground.
So many times we talk about quarterbacks and taking care of them early to get them in the flow.
Again, it's Brady. And he's got it. Caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown there to make the grab. And the Bucs are going to add on to their lead.
A lot of people might call this backyard football. Sometimes just understanding who you've got out wide and who you're going to throw it to. Give him an opportunity to go up and make a play, even when contested.
with a 64-yarder back in 2013. And all the gamble fails. And the 11-year veteran bangs it through. And that stretches this lead even further. It's now 24-0. To the air again, Stafford. Looking for the end zone. And that is caught. Touchdown, Detroit. Danny Amendola, 29 yards. And the Lions are able to draw a bit closer. So they will get on the scoreboard here. Give them credit for that. Too little, too late, but no zero. Oh, you're going slow clap on me.
Not very nice, is it?
No, but they haven't been very nice on offense. It's been a struggle. So now Stafford will bring up the Lions, and they'll go for two. Throwing again at Stafford. He's got it. So they convert the two. That keeps their slim hopes alive as we're back to a two-score game. Well, it's still an uphill battle from here, that's for sure, but that makes it a two-score game.
And now we see why teams practice so much on the two-point conversion, why you have more than one play ready, because you may need multiples throughout a ball game.
Need to be distributed on the defensive side of the football, and I bet that you would agree.
Yeah, if you hold a team under 10 points, that's a job well done. Really well done. So I would say game balls for every starter and every key player who participated in this game.
Now, see, I only like one game ball. You're handing out multiple. Although I set you up by saying game balls plural, but I
like where we're going with this. Though you say one to represent like the best player of all that.
A very rare occasion, Madden gave the Bucks a blowout win. Pretty much it was 24-0 the whole game until it finished 24-8, which could possibly be a score Sunday. It should be what the Lions have on offense and defense versus what the Bucks have on offense and defense. You're just tuning in to Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. That's powered by none other than 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com, as well as check out the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol. They do every live broadcast. Peter Blake and the Sports Web will be there in person for pre, half, and post-game specials there at the Deck Bar and Grill. We're at the midpoint. We're going to go to a quick break. It's going to be quick, maybe a minute and a half long. Bring Deshaun on, and we'll go from there. And we'll hear his perspective with Deshaun and the 411. So sit back, relax, refill the eggnog, and we'll be right back after these quick messages.
Be us, but you haven't called. Call 1-833-77-SOLAR right now and join the 320 Solar Happy Customers Club for $0 down and no payments until 2022. We'll put the power back in your hands. 320 Solar. Power up.
And we're back to Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com for the second half. Let's take in that second half. We got to bring on our second half person here with Deshaun.
Hey, what's up, guys? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays to you.
Merry Christmas, Deshaun. You and the family got everything you wanted?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? We're blessed to be where we're at right now in the pandemic, so pretty happy about it, and just here to enjoy, a festive day with everyone. Wanted to take some time, come out, Sports Talk 49, get on with the rest of my Buck fans here. Give you
Yep,
guys the
yep.
411.
Yeah, the 411 letting us know what's up. So
Yeah,
speaking of
man.
letting us know what's up, go ahead and let it fire off. I know you got some stuff to say.
Oh, hey, man. Listen, I know a big topic for everyone is, hey, we got snubbed. We got so many players that got snubbed for Pro Bowls. But
It's sick, right?
I mean, listen, even though it is negative, it's super bad. I mean, I'm just looking at it to the point of, hey, we are a team that we're never a team that can look and think we're going to get, someone's going to push the Buccaneers forward in their market. I kind of already know, like, the number one person I would think if we were having that type of season would be Tom Brady. But as you noticed just now, I'm going to show you a little tweak. What happened in Madden just now is we had an AB touchdown. We haven't had an AB touchdown the last couple of weeks, if you remember, right? So you got to think to yourself, listen, the pundits know and they follow the stardom outside of our market. They don't really follow the stardom inside of our market. So they're not watching Bucks games until we're on prime time. And, a couple of prime time games, we lay an egg, so we don't come out fast. We don't put on the greatest show on turf or on grass or whatever. And then when that happens, you don't get all the pundits leaning toward us in a positive manner. Sure, the collection of numbers that we have are phenomenal. Those numbers look phenomenal, but to be honest with you, we're not going to put out, we're not going to get, everyone raving over us. We kind of just have to come out and literally beat teams down to do that. And, Levante David, I feel sorry for the man because, a lot of his Hall of Fame and his whole legacy from an NFL perspective, obviously tied to the Buccaneers and just in general is going to be how we listed him, how he was listed as a from a outside linebacker when outside linebackers were all seen as D ends, and now even at the 4-3 linebackers where they listed him as a D end, but now even though he's listed as an inside linebacker, they're still in with other outside linebackers that are predominantly rushing the passer. So you got to think of it as a fan. You say, hey, JPP went to the Pro Bowl just now. Well, he's had a phenomenal season. He's done great for an outside linebacker to get 3 picks. He's definitely playing above your normal or your average. Well, we can say Shaq Barrett's doing the same thing. He's two sacks sack and a half back from JPP, but he's not getting any of the accolades at this point. And then the next part you got to think is if we look at, you look at Devin White and you look at Levante David, look at the tackle numbers that these gentlemen are putting up. I mean, they're putting up big numbers. And they're just not getting in the respect when you compare whoever they put. I think you said it best when you said, "Hey, the guys that are going to be put to the top 100 are going to be these guys. They're going to be in the top 100 because when other players rate them, they always rate Levante David. They're definitely going to rate Devin White right now. But that's where we're moving from here. They're going to rate him high, and he's going to make big plays. So I'm going to take the fact that they didn't make it and they're snubbed because I think we need that energy right now. As we watch Tom Brady and Belichick win for several years, and they would come in the favorite, you've always heard that their locker room talk or what they would put on their billboard is that they are the underdog, and we want to be the underdog right now. It's usually something to fight for. This team has not played with the lead, so to speak, whether it's been offensively or defensively. So we need to have that edge, and I think that edge is gonna, move us right now.
It definitely is, and I bring it up because, like I said, we was in our BR group, and somebody made a comment that said it's Pro Bowl's voted by coaches and players. I was like, I don't really think so, because I don't think another player would vote another player into the Pro Bowl that knowing that he didn't play a down in the season.
And I mean, you got to think about that this way too. You get players, and you say, okay, I've watched year after year McCoy be rated high in the 100 when players and coaches are rating him because they're on their boards when they're worried about stopping this guy. If you really think players and coaches are doing this, the fact that we haven't seen Devin White getting in the backfield with the blitzes that he was getting in the first quarter of the season, that says that coaches and players had to take that into effect and account and say, hey, we have to stop these guys from just barreling into the backfield. We got to pick them up. We got to, when they come on these blitzes, we got to stop them. And that's what they did. That's what they did in the second quarter. They stopped the blitz. Now we have to be creative with it. So from a basic standpoint, Todd Bowles was not creative in the second quarter. Now we're in the third quarter of the season. And now that we're in the third quarter, what he's doing now is what the adjustment that he made in that last game was, we need to put that on a delay blitz. He's fast enough to get there once the natural blocking gap and seams develop. He's fast enough to get there. And I think that's going to be one of the keys going forward. He has to mix it up and put in some of everything for this team to continue to flourish defensively. And I feel like coming into our own, moving into this playoffs, really going to be big for Tampa Bay Buccaneers from a defensive side of it. I think, I'm looking forward to this game right now. I'm looking for all those defensive people to get their accolades so that you have to question the pundits, because when anyone announces our games, they're going to say, I want Shaq to get his 2. So he had 10. JPP will get his half somewhere in there. And then, I'm sure at this point, Devin White's going to get 2 more, right? Before the end of the season. So he'll either get that on Matt Ryan or he'll get it in this next game.
There's a lot of accolades on the line these last 2 games. And you didn't mention one as well.
Mike Evans?
No, not even Mike Evans.
The interception, leading interceptions for us.
Nope, that's the one me and you joked about. Ronald Jones. I said, wouldn't it be a Bucks life?
Well, he's inactive. He's inactive this week.
You cursed him. You said, wouldn't it be something if he said the last 3 weeks he wouldn't make 1,000 yards, and here you are, you missing the next 2 games, and this all comes down to one more game.
One game home on the line. And listen, you can't, listen. The old adage is you can't have your cake and eat it too. So you got Mike Evans on the outside that even if he gets a buck. If he gets, let's say he gets 125 this week, or he gets 110 this week, he doesn't get he doesn't get the whole 200 this week. So I think he needs 222. So he doesn't get all that this week. Some of that saved for the last game, right? So you have him needing yards on the outside. You have everyone else wanting the ball because it's the NFL and they're pro players. And as much as they team, they want the ball. And then you have, we need Rojo. And the only way that happens is, I think that we get on any team, whoever it is. It's going to be the Falcons, it's going to be the Lions, these next 2 games. We need to jump on them early so that we can salt it away on the ground. But that means that all those through the air passes, we really have to work with Mike. And over the last couple of games, I've actually seen Tom get the ball to Mike a little bit more. And he's been open. He's been doing what he needs to do. And some of the passes that Tom has completed, if you watch the all 22, and I know everybody may not always have the ability to do it, but I think Blake does a super job. So a lot of people do a super job of, especially you, Blake, when you put up the videos, you can clearly see that when Tom goes to someone, because of the angle, you can see the person behind him, and they're also open. He just chose one of the 2 options,
And I don't mean to cut you off, but that was the part where I was trying to emphasize people on play call, like, there's people open. He's choosing to go to these guys. That's it. The play designs, like Arians has said it 1,000 times. He's like, well, what about that such and such pass to him? He said, the ball wasn't even supposed to go there. That's just the guy that got open on that play. It's just, I think people try to push their narratives on stuff, but when people sit here, show you the facts and tell you what's going on, you still choose to ignore it. That's just on you, and that's why I just disengage from conversations. But go on.
Listen, hey, sometimes there's just a really great play design, and make no mistake about it, we have some all-star receivers out here, from the tight ends to the receivers. You may have a play where everyone's literally open, and listen, here's the fact about it. Then that's when you get a Tom Brady versus whose name shall not be mentioned. Because he's going to go for the big shot because he's been poured into by BA that he needs to risk it. So he's going to take the biggest chance, where Tom's just going to take the best chance, if you will. And sometimes that pass to Mike gives a defender, because it's a further pass, it gives a defender a chance to run over there and get underneath it. And that's where interceptions come from. Different from a, I'm throwing to this tight end and it's right here. I mean, listen, how many interceptions we had a week where we had back-to-back interceptions, and we're like, oh, listen, it's taking care of the ball. We might have 3 and outs, but we're not risking it to the point where, we're turning the ball over, which is going to be great for us. So, these things are huge, but like you said with Rojo, kind of jinxed them a little bit. But it is, I said it. I was like, listen, I in the summer, I was all with the Kool-Aid. I was drinking it. And now I'm at the reality. Listen, if you want to get all the way over the edge, you got to keep rowing. You can't keep looking up and picking your head up and trying to see where you're at. You just got to keep your head down and keep grinding. And this is where we're at right now from a team perspective. So if we try, and I heard BA on his presser, I don't know if you saw him, Blake, he said that he would love for Mike to get that. To me, that was telling on it. And if I'm a corner and I watch that presser, and I know all the coaches do from the other team, they're sitting on Mike. They have coverage. It's going to be bracketed. I'm not going to let you, make history on me, because guess what? We may watch that game one time, but as he makes history, every time that history is talked about, he's going to be, he's going to be flashed up. The lines are going to be on there. And there's nothing that I dislike more as a Bucks fan to be on someone's highlights and like, man, look at us again. This person did this, got this accolade, or, did something special, and we're the team they did it on,
Well, I think the Lions don't have to worry about getting 220 yards put up by one individual in this game. Now, the Falcons, that would be more, I think they would be more worried about. I get your point. Detroit and the Buccaneers have been those teams that have given up records to people quite a few times on numerous occasions. But nobody wants to be that guy to get that ball caught on them for the whatever amount of touchdown, reception, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to be the other guy in the video. But yeah, as we said before, Mike doesn't care about that stat. Would it be interesting to see him get it, especially what the yards he's got to get in the last 2 games? Be interesting to see it happen. But again, I think most fans will be happy if they get the win. I don't think people personally care about accolades. As I broke down about Pro Bowl earlier, the players care about Pro Bowl because it helps in contract, and as far as Hall of Fame numbers and things like that, they look at all those things. And especially a guy like Levante David has gotten snubbed so many times, and Devin White, as I said earlier as well, he may not have another season like this. That's a lot of numbers, especially 8 sacks as a middle linebacker. It's a lot, man. That's a lot.
Listen,
he may not ever get that number again.
Yeah, taken for granted, and especially when teams start to, like we said, if you really just dial into it, just go into your memory bank. The first blitzes were we were show and go, right? You know it, Blake. It was show and go. We lined up. We came in those double A gap mid show. When we went and we came and he got there. Then teams are now prepared for that. Once they're prepared for it, they can cinch up and block. They went into a field goal protect. They just froze everything in the middle. That was it. Then you take out Vita, because that was a major cog for us, and we no longer are able to apply the same pressure into the middle of the pack as we used to. That affects edge rushers. So we've done everything in this final quarter of the season to try to bring that mid rush back, to push the pocket from the middle. If you can't push the pocket back into the quarterback in the interior, the quarterback's just going to move in that pocket like they do and be able to find their receiver. And they've done that on us. I mean, pretty much since the Chiefs game. Yes, we've kept people inside, but the quarterback's been able to move in the pocket, get in the passing lanes, and kind of go where they want with the ball. Last week, I think we saw it in the first half, where JPP was flexed inside. We went to Ledbetter. Why? And I don't know why we didn't go to Khalil Davis when I felt like I saw a lot of progress with him. We went to O'Connor in there. We're trying to manifest pressure from the interior, and what did we do? Blake, you couldn't get it with your interior line. We put a spy and a delay blitz on with your Mike backer. And we put our other Mike in coverage, and I believe that they put Levante in coverage because he kind of covers better than he actually covers better than David White right now. But I think the issue with Devin White is he still plays a little bit college-esque, where he sees a certain player, he just flashes to that player. and he may leave his assignment. And last week, that's exactly what happened. He saw someone come free underneath. He left his assignment while Levante is trying to hustle over behind him to get to his assignment as he's attacking up. Right after the play is over, when the pass is caught, you see Levante getting on him, and he's like, well, this person came free. It only works together when everyone does their job, because the outside linebacker has that running back that's flexing free. And the outside linebacker chooses, he's supposed to be showing, but he's supposed to drop off in the coverage, decides not to drop off in the coverage, doesn't get to the quarterback, and then he leaves his man wide open. Somebody didn't do their job. So it really just comes back down to execution. Yep,
you said it best. Just do your job. And I said that last week about, somebody asked, should Ali Marpet, kind of have to babysit over to Joshua Wells' side? And the first thing I said, no, he don't. I said, Ali Marpet has to do his own job. You can't do two people's job. If Josh Wells is going to get beat, then the coaching staff's got to figure out a way around that. But Marpet can't do two people's job. It's just like it's exactly what you just said. You can't do your job and do somebody else and then not give up a play. It's not going to happen. So these guys are too good and these guys are too smart for stuff like that.
Well, let me ask you this, and everybody in the chat as well. Listen, I know I kind of put the kibosh on Rojo, and I said, listen, it would definitely be a Bucks life to get to 900 and not be able to finish that out. Now, listen, it is a Bucks life to get to that end and have to run and have to, drag and scrape over that line to get it at the end. And don't worry, if we get into a second half of the last game against the Falcons and he's pushing for that 100 yards, it's going to be a dogfight for him to get that. That's one thing being said. But here's a point and some information I want to give you guys, and I feel like it's going to be very important as we look at Leonard Fournette and this week and the running backs that we do have in the stable that are up this week. I think that Keyshawn Vaughn is going to be a better running back as a change of pace this week. I'm not sure if we're going to see some more Shady, but I think Leonard will be better this week. He's ready to kind of get that load, and I think people don't realize what that is when you're put into the situations. I think they figured out how to use Leonard right now. And a couple of those, I think I want to say maybe about 3 passes just off the top of my head, that if Tom puts those in a little better perspective for him, a little better placing for him, he also catches those and then gets yards. Screen game looked really well last week, was working well. And he was a little bit elusive. He's not normally elusive, but he was definitely elusive last week a little bit. I just do think that if Keyshawn Vaughn is in the game this week, I don't think he'll be pressing as much, as he knows that opportunities are that they're minimal, but he has to make the best out of those opportunities. I didn't feel like as he got in the game this past game that he really made the best of his opportunities.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's really about opportunities and taking advantage of whatever they come out in, and somebody blocking on that play and you breaking out and you making the right read. It's really about taking advantage of opportunities. You said it best as you could. It's going to be interesting, this Lions game. Their defense is really banged up. They don't have Trey Flowers. I put it out. I put it up the whole list of people they don't have.
It's a bunch. I think I put it in the chat as well. They missed their linebacker. They missed their corner.
Somebody asked me Stafford's out. Last time I saw Stafford should be in. He's just dealing with a rib injury.
I thought they had him on the inactive, so he might be back. But here's the thing. Regardless, full-fledged or not, they're supposed to be, they're 30th against the run. So if I don't care who the back is in this week, they're supposed to get that 100. So this was the game that Rojo definitely would have solidified that 1,000-yard rusher for the season. So victim of value, he may be that, because I'm going to tell you what the argument is going into the playoffs. Somebody's going to come in this week, have a great game, and then everybody will start being like, oh, look at this person. Look how much he ran against, the Lions. Not to say the Lions are 30th in run defense. They get this slated to give up like 170 on the ground.
It's well possible, especially if Leftwich puts that in the game plan to run the rock and they actually are running the ball. Well, I foresee them to keep going to it. And then we'll be at a situation where, Mike Evans might not get that many looks because they might not need to, because the run is opening up, the screen is underneath like that, because they are pretty banged up on defense really, really bad. And speaking of banged up, I actually got that list there. They're actually missing their star defensive pass rusher, Trey Flowers, defensive lineman, Deshaun Hand, defensive rookie back, Jeff Okuda, defensive tackle, Danny Shelton, and then former Atlanta Falcon DB Desmond Trufant were all out for the year, and they won't be playing in this matchup.
That would have been good if Mike could have went against Trufant. He eats on Trufant.
Mm-hmm.
Mike normally, I mean, guys in the league, so Mike normally eats. Even Chris Godwin eats on Trufant. They just got his number to just his technique. But listen, even if we're throwing the short pass game, which we threw in last week, Mike Evans even caught that. I mean, everyone had an opportunity based on the way that you have to play us. I think the receivers, I'm liking that receiver room right now, the way they're blocking for each other. Listen, I saw Tom bring AB inside, and then he just went out for that block for Chris Godwin and I picked up big yards. So I love when I see that out of our receivers, that the want and the attention to detail to go out there and block. I think that's why AB is over Scotty Miller. And you saw it right there in the highlights. Listen, there'll be a lot more Madden wins when AB catches the ball more because they like him. And dude, his stats are, take it to the Madden side for a second. My son kicks returns with him, and dude, he's a monster. They have his speed, his tackle break is up. I mean, and he's showing you the real deal in real life as well. So I think I'm a little bit more sold on what BA says, Blake, with we can beat you in a number of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And just as you start to think this team, you might say to yourself right now, hey, I haven't seen Gronk. And just as you start to forget about someone, they'll force feed them in the game, or maybe it's not that they're force feeding them, it's that they've been left alone so the defense can put their focus on someone else. And as you focus on the other person, we can kill you in so many different ways. And that's really what happens. So you don't have no one getting a lion's share, but everyone's eating.
Yep, and that's exactly what's it. I think Arians and Leftwich have both said several times. The ball, the defense dictates where the ball goes. They're not just going to throw it, even when there's coverage there. That would be silly. That's why you would have 30 interceptions or something like that. But he only has 11 currently. But the defense is going to pick. I don't know if Lions aren't with their interim head coach. I don't think they're going to run too many routes.
Their interim head coach.
Oh yeah, interim. Excuse me, head coach. Yep, that's it. From what I saw on defense, they pretty much just run all the guys underneath and have the safety sit up top on longer downs. They're not very aggressive on defense hardly. They're missing so many pieces, especially in the secondary. The safety, as you saw, and I did in the winning angle, Harmon is absolutely horrendous in open space. As soon as these guys look for post routes and things like that, putting him in compromising situations, they get in front of him. They're gonna shake him, and they're gonna score over him, as you saw what Devontae Adams and the other wide receiver did in those highlights. So, like I said, I figured a big day in the passing game, run game should be available as well because you have all those defensive linemen out.
Well, see, that's what my thing is too. Here's what I would like to see the Buccaneers do. Of course, we're going to say that we want to see them start fast, but I think that we are going to get some more deep completions. Not because it's wholesale. They're just kind of really risking it, but just because I think they're going to run it enough that the defense will be in. This is not a phenomenally packed defense as it is. They're still an NFL team. We can't take anyone for granted. We saw the last couple of weeks what happens when teams take teams for granted. They go out and lay an egg, they lose or what have you. So but I don't see Tampa as being a team like that because we're not sitting in that plus position. I don't feel, but you know what? As this game, I'm seeing it in the other room now. It's going to start in a moment here. I'm interested. I'm watching the Saints game against the Vikings because listen. I mean, I'm a fan. If there's an injury that can benefit us, if they lose this game, it's anything's possible.
Yep.
This team has been losing. Listen, the Jets were supposed to lose that game. Never mind, it's any given Sunday, and that can happen on we've seen the NFL this week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we've gotten every day of the week this year. This may be the first season. I don't know what that. I'm thinking this is probably the first season that we've had football in the year every single day this year. at least one day. I've never seen like our football. I don't never remember being like every single day, so I think that's awesome. But I'm looking for this team to do some big stuff this week. The Lions is a nice, ripe team, because here's one thing where I think it'll really help. It'll help our defense. Our defense hasn't played with the lead enough to really have these pass rushers get after quarterbacks. We've not played with tremendous leads to make a team one-dimensional where we can now attack stuff. When we were in the beginning of first quarter, I felt like we would get into better positions against teams where they were one-dimensional throughout quarters, and they were forced to do things, and our defense ate when that became the situation. Now that's not been the situation, so our rushers are not rushing, and now we're kind of compromised of where we are from the interior. Do you just before I get off here, let me ask you, Blake, what do you think we can do aside, or which player from the defensive line locker room or group do you think we can add? I know we got Levante David and White that can rush for us from delayed blitzes and regular show and go blitzes. Who do you think can show up from that defensive front in the D line locker room to help provide some interior pressure?
Well, I have to go with the one savvy veteran. It has to be Ndamukong Suh. He has to do something. I know he's really great in run support. He's got to give up. He's got to start getting more, getting in the passing lanes and disrupting passes. And I'm not sure if it's a fatigue thing or age, but I would say Khalil Davis. I'm not sure if he's going to be active or not sure what's going on. Again, he adds the speed to that defensive line and pass rush. So if he's in there, I'll be looking for 94 in the game when he gets in there. Hopefully he's in and gets to play these last two games. Because they're going to need him. They're going to need him down these stretches.
They're going to need him in the stretch. I think they'll need him in rotation down the stretch. To me, I'm not sure what obviously a lot of times you look at it, and just with the knowledge of the game that we have, and a lot of the fans as well, we try to break down what we see other people doing and what matches with that we know. But I'm like, dude, this dude is not injured. He showed the best quick twitch out of the interior techniques that I've seen for our guys. And you need one quick twitch and one stud, one body, where I haven't seen McClendon be doing anything lately. Ndamukong Suh does what he does. Obviously, he's going to be the interior leader there, but moving JPP inside kind of compromised us last week. And when we moved him back outside, we started to get more pressure. So we do need one of those linemen. I saw we went to Ledbetter. I know we went to O'Connor in there. That means to me we're fishing, and we gotta catch something,
Yeah, obviously, you've changed bait, so you got to catch something now. Because you're definitely fishing. Well, I appreciate you jumping on the Sean and taking time away from your family to get on here and talk Bucks versus the Lions football game. And I know you're going to watch the Vikings Saints along with many other, because this play is a big deal. Like you said, injuries. If they lose, there'd be one game left for them to come down to lose a division to the Buccaneers. Wouldn't that be something?
Listen, if we could sit down that first week, oh my God, win the division. Listen, don't start it. Don't start it. We're still working on playoffs right now. We want to, like I said, I don't want to leave our destiny in anyone else's hand. I always want to see our team come out, take control of it, win and get in, and then whatever the chips fall where they may, we know we did our job, because win and get in can keep us doing what we need to do. If we just kind of fall into it, you never know what happens in that first round. I like to see us playing hat and t-shirt game for sure.
No doubt. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Looking forward to seeing you Monday.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for having me come out today. Hey, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you guys. We won't speak to you before New Year's. Have a great one. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Go Bucks.
There he is, the one and only Deshaun Tidsdale. I couldn't leave y'all on Christmas without a gift. And here it is. I'll give you a little quick something that the Buccaneers put out coming into the Detroit Lions game. Playoffs on the line. Division still on the line. Tons going on. So I couldn't leave without giving you this.
Is Tampa right now, that team you watched yesterday, are they a threat to make a deep playoff run? The expectations are Super Bowl.
Now, it's a team game, and it's the team accolade to go out there and say we're Super Bowl champions. So he's going to need everyone in tow.
You look at the column of the W's and the L's, that's all I really care about as a football player and as a head coach.
Let me tell you something right now, and this defense that Tom Bowles is running, oh my Lord, these brothers can ball.
Got a receiver open, it's Antonio Brown, touchdown Tampa Bay!
Are the Bucs more likely to win the Super Bowl or miss the playoffs?
But we haven't played the playoffs yet. We don't know what's going to happen. The debate will be settled on the field. With Fournette at your running back spot, with Ronald Jones as well. And then you got Brady flat out balling.
All I know is that all I want for Christmas under this tree is the first playoff berth for the Buccaneers since 2007, and Casey, it's right there.
There you have it, people. Saturday, 1 p.m. Check Peter Blake and the Sports Web and everybody from Bucks Report to be there for the pre, half, and post-game show there. Make sure you guys check it out because it won't be something you want to miss. And I appreciate you guys taking your time to watch me at Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com. That's powered by 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com to pay nothing out of pocket to 2022. Appreciate you guys on there. Ben, you've been great. Everybody in the comment section has been great. And I appreciate you, like I said, taking time to watch, and I won't keep you much longer. So we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons. Merry Christmas.